technology too early. It would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
You just can't give out the technology too early.
yeah. Just
And also, we gotta make sure it don't fall in the wrong hands again.
That's another thing. Um, People should have been living harmonious during the times where people were building complexes like this, and even after when they built the megalithic structures during the times of the Tartarians, people were living harmoniously.
can I ask you,
That's why some structures still stand and some structures don't.
can we connect the Tartarians to Ethiopia at all?
I was gonna just ask if you notice how the pyramids have 3 steps, but then you see the long step is sectioned in between 3 parts, and every part has 9 steps. And I know for a fact that what we see as pyramids, we see them huge. That's just the second third of the pyramid. We don't see the bottom part. The bottom part is like tunnels connecting the whole underground. That is the pyramids are not just.
But the tunnels are okay. Some of the tunnels are supposed to hold things. Some of the tunnels lead different places. Some of the tunnels are only supposed to bring in water. And because people don't know how to use it anymore, it's not active. That's a frustration of mine. They messed up. They damaged that technology. And then on top of that, the mud floods covered up a lot of the entrances to these tunnels. And so we would need to know which tunnels were only for resources versus which tunnels were for travel and things of that nature. They kind of just messed up the whole system.
Yeah, and then also how they removed the paramedia. Is that how you say it? From the top of a lot of the pyramids.
It's called the bin bin. That thing. It's
That
called the bin bin.
actually holds and pulls the electromagnet from the electromagnetic fields.
Because it's not a rock, it's a crystal.
Looking like a magnet type of
Right.
rock thing. Yeah, I
Right.
concentrate.
It's a
I just
crystal.
want to touch one.
Go
Well,
ahead.
they should give it back and put it back where they were.
They scared to
Yeah.
put it back.
Hello, our society. Who would?
Go ahead, Bisa.
No, I said I just want to touch one. I just want to see what it feels like.
The vibration.
Yeah,
Amen.
I would love to do any and all of that. I always look at this like, dang man, they done messed up the technology. It's just
Museum.
bullshit.
How many sides on that?
I
One,
was gonna
two,
tell you
three,
that we
four.
keep talking about
It's
triangles,
four, and then you
but
got
it's
the fifth
4.
side, which is the bottom.
That one's 4?
Five if you count the bottom.
Right. So because you called the word out as capstone, in my head, and don't quote me on this, Capricorn stone is the final capping A, B, C, D on your way out, and they leave your Capricorn.
I heard something like that.
So inside the word of cap, ST, is the goal between 1 and cap. I'm just trying to look at the association between the beginning, the end, the entire word. Anyway, that word associates it to 10. It's the Capricorn stone when you're laid to rest. Egypt for me was part to do with a schooling program. The EG is also as a 5G. It's also Egypt is 57772, which is going to create what is in a piece of art. I just show you. I just like this piece. I never got rid of it. So just let me spin around and stand up. Thank you for letting me stand up. Not this piece. This piece over here. 5, 7, 7, but now I put the 5. You see, I put it backwards. I flipped it that way. So this, and then I did it this way, and then we get the 33, like for Jesus. Now, what year is this? You know what year this comes out to be? This is 2012 that designs this. It represents the electric moon. It's 2015. It looks like 2012 the way it's written. It's Hebrew time, but when you reflect the letters on each other, they turn the other way. 3 times 3, bringing on 9 to breath. 3 plus 3 equals 6 to life. 3 to one world. What is E5 to the other worlds? Do you know that 3 and 5 are the same? Check it out. How much is 2 times 5?
10.
How much is 2 times 50? So this one was 5, I call it 50. This one is 3, call it 30. So instead of 3 and 5, we now have 30 and 50. So yeah, that's you're twisting things around. Do you know you can?
My brain is refusing certain things because something up and something there.
So
Maybe
that
I'm just showing it. I'm sorry.
that when that piece over there, right? You had to draw that on an angle, and the queen's hat runs that way, so it's queen's control. Yes, that's the queen's control. The drawing it that way. That's the 45 Fox angle, 666.
Hitler's still ruling and you guys don't realize.
I also learned that behind this technique. I learned that was
Different things right here.
I also learned that was spinning X spinning cross. I'm not saying you wrong, JP. I'm just adding to it what I heard about it. I've always looked at that sign as a spinning cross or a spinning X.
You know, that's just a prime example of how throughout everything, good has become bad and bad has become good.
Well, also, hold up. There's a prophecy that says that those people will be responsible for taking us into a new age, but not them alone. Have y'all heard that prophecy about Barron Trump? Exactly.
You know what? I'm so into what I do that ever since that cuckoo age ended or didn't end or whatever, I was ever since that time. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, how many people are left on this planet? Seriously, I mean, I'm so happy that I have the family that I have, semi-awake, right? But but at least, that I know they're not fully asleep. They can't be because some of us are artistic or autistic, you know. With all the scams going on, right? It seems to be waking up some people saying, well, this is not real and this is a scam. How do we know? And now, you know what I'm saying? They're not sure which way to look. Well, the government can make errors too, you know. Well, it's not a scam. Well, they made one error. Now they made 2 errors. The minute you find that, now everybody's making errors. Now you got to start asking questions. I mean, it's like me. One of my friends comes up to me all the time and says, you never take the side of the administration of your province, of your country. You never take the administration side. I go, no. He says, don't they do anything good? I says, yes, but all with reason for their own personal self-benefit.
Someone asked, why the plant/tree?
Okay, so you're talking about number tree or the plant tree?
The one that was on the ground when you were talking about the number. You had a plant and a tree down there.
Hold on. Okay, here in this place I'm at right now, on the floor. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Where? I've got the British flag there. You see what's happening in Britain? This is where my mind was about Britain many, many, many years ago. That's a British flag, and it's holding a Kimmel bread. Boy, can I use a Kimmel bread now. Somebody send me a Kimmel bread. But this is how Great Britain was controlling everything.
Was? Are you
Interesting.
sure that's the right word?
Well, whatever you want to put under that, the United Kingdom, I don't know, but this is what's coming out of there. Maybe it's everything to do with the Kimmel bread. But somebody's got a Kimmel bread. That Kimmel bread has to go up here to balance everything. So, and it can also show two different roadways, but that wasn't the only thing I did about out there. But we had London bridges. Okay, on the wall we had him standing up by the wall in London. He was the guard standing up the penguin when we had to cross the bridge, and he was dropping thoughts. That's the letter I, by the way. You see that? I just bubbled it out a little bit. And then we have the omega. We're just crossing over the bridge. And then this one's plugging into one side, and it comes out on this side. He's going straight forward. This is what ID is all about. It's all about the letter I. All these are the letter I. Just bubble them out. And then I got another one in the mix. What's that? So where was that? Where was that? Oh my God! No one knows. It's the mushroom. I couldn't figure it out. It was an old mushroom, so the sides started to just move off of it. So this is a plug-in. See this plug-in, and then the two wings hooked up to the tip, but you can't see because the tip goes around and it locks both sides. So no matter what they tried to do to us, see this here? Once these two break away, you just go all the way back up.
Showing it's on the floor in the beginning, but he's been going all around and I haven't been able to spot it.
It's
It's
by
near
the
that. It's near
what is
that
this? The
cross
eight
thing y'all were
track?
talking about.
It's near like the eight track brick that you were showing me. Is that what it's called? The eight track brick.
Yeah, the first thing you showed on the floor.
What's that called in construction? Eight track?
The one that looked like
No,
that?
not that.
Oh!
Yeah, that. There you go. I was gonna say. I forgot. Yeah, right there somewhere. It was somewhere right there.
But you see something really weird in this picture? You see the number
Okay.
one, look, the number one.
Uh-oh.
And here's another number one.
Is that what you was looking for?
Put on your
That's
mask. Does
mine.
it look,
It's
eh?
right there with that section of. It's above that, about a foot and a half above it. There you go, right? You hit it right there
Yeah,
in the
you see
Oh,
that
center.
this?
tree? You see that tree?
Yeah, use your little stick right there and you can land right on top of it.
No,
Oh,
we
it's a
just talking
tree.
about
Hold
trees
on.
on the
Move it out
ground.
the way.
Yeah,
You
there
see
you
that
go.
tree? See, it looks like a flower or a tree.
Which
What
one?
is that? It looks like a
Right
flower or a
there.
tree right there.
This one?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so the only thing that was in my mind, you see, this is an 8, but with the 8, there's 7 because there's something that moves into the 8. One of them is a portal. So this is the waggy tail to connect to this side, this side, this side, and this side. It's a link, pulls the link from everything, and either brings the energy back down here. So let's call it an energy link, like a sort of like a generator room, collecting energy, like collecting dust or particles, right? When you
Yeah, it's
connect,
just giving me the. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay, good.
Well, it
Thank
looked like
y'all
what
so
you
much. Thank you
noticed.
for doing that for me.
No, I did it for us. I did I don't do
Please.
It's all for us. It's us. It's us. It's only us. It can't, I mean, we have to solve this riddle. And listening to everybody out here, I just can't believe how many smart people are out here. I thought I was alone.
But you know, Tack, this reminds me of Prison Break. I don't know if you guys ever seen that show. It's an old show. His brother was sent to prison for something he didn't do. So he got these tattoos on his body that showed him how to break out. And but you couldn't tell what they were unless you really looked into it. And you giving me that vibe, like it's something I really need to figure out here. Like it's a hidden match that I need to figure out.
Good. That's beautiful. That's why certain people I will let them come in and get the floor because it's some people that like be in the live with me, but they understand the type of stuff you're talking about. So they gonna when they show they resonate, like we gonna just go ahead and do it.
So I'm going to add in what others have said. I think you said this to me magnificent last time, and we spoke about the ice melting in the Arctic. So now I don't know the truth. I don't know what magazine is there. I just know the story. The ice is melting. Well, my thoughts are stop thinking so much. Brain freeze. I can't think. Brain freeze. Stop thinking so much. The Arctic's melting. Bitcoin. Storage. LED lights. We had Sylvania penguins. Pennsylvania. Who's locked up in prison? Brainwave. The moon is burnt out. There's no more space for the water. Our breath, when we breathe in, our lungs get the water. It gets decorticated, torn apart, going through the heart, and we read it through the breath for every breath we take. For the instance, even before we take a breath, we know what we're thinking. It's an instance. So,
right. I was thinking about some things that you said. I literally meditated on, and I was thinking this. Like for example, during the times of Atlantis and during the times of Terraria, too much of something got used. Too much of something. And we were discussing a little bit of that the other day. It's like too much of something got used. Or I like the way when you look into JP loves this. When you look into Constantine, he was his story says he was trapping demons. But really that is just stolen information and stolen technology and stolen stories. During the times of the Tartarians, they knew how to trap energies. That way we can use them and put them to use. And these energies wouldn't just be around existing in the world with no use. Those energies probably become storms really easily. And go ahead, JP.
Let me add something to that because I don't want it to be misinformation, you know?
Okay.
When Constantine came, have in mind, everyone, no, there was no like energy thing going on. What he did, what it means by coming and splicing energy, it meant that he came. That's when the holy matrimony between the Bible and the state came together. So that kind of like open resources. So what it means is they made help for people, the mental, the sick, the uneducated. So these buildings were used for hospitals, churches. That's that second term. Now when we go to like, if we're gonna talk about that's another,
Right.
That's what I
Right.
like.
Okay, so look, for everybody who doesn't actually understand, I'm gonna pop this little egg open. By the time they got their hands on the information, the buildings, everything, they had an opposite use for it than the original uses. During the times of Tartaria, these were energy buildings that would provide energy, would provide healing. The energy was used in the right ways. But then afterwards, like your churches are harvesting your energy now instead of giving you energy. What up, Matt? What's going on?
me?
All right. No, I was talking about Mad Facts. He on the panel.
Hey,
what's going on, bro? You want to introduce yourself to everybody and then jump in the conversation?
Yeah, matter of fact, searcher and the seeker of truth, no matter where. So I seek truth. And, just talking about the Temple of the Sun, I see you got it up there up top.
Yep.
Background.
Yep.
Now, a lot of things that you got to kind of think about since we're mixing in the spiritual and the physical, along with the religious versus the government and all that stuff. One thing you gotta think about Genesis 1:1 versus 1:2. There's a gap theory there. The earth was created and then created again. So between 1 and 2, the earth was destroyed, or there could have been a reset going on between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2.
A natural catastrophe, as they put it all the time. Entertainment purposes only.
Right, but we know that man or beings can manipulate weather. And we can control the water and all that stuff. All we have to do is make a dam. We flooded our towns and all that.
Let me ask you a question right quick. How many either floods or catastrophes do you know about?
Oh, offhand, maybe like 3 or 4.
All right, let's count those out right quick, Mad Facts. Let's count those out right quick. We'll start with the most recent flood we know about, Tartarian mud floods, right?
Well, there was just one in Tijuana, but yeah, we can go there to Tartarian.
No, there's proof of mud floods in America too.
Right, they had to get, Tartarian in itself is one of those subjects that most people tiptoe across.
I don't.
I don't either. But what I'm
saying, so here goes St. Louis. Let's go ahead and make sure me and you on the same page. Here goes St. Louis. We got all these other buildings that this is all America. So like I don't let nobody play with me about like Tartaria being here in America. I also know that these Tartarian buildings, when they started tearing them down, they literally took them across seas. Took the buildings across seas, because a lot of the Tartarian buildings, they could be taken apart like a puzzle. They could be put together like a puzzle. So I had a guy on earlier today. He's from the Ukraine, and he said that they witnessed it. They witnessed buildings being taken apart in Ghana and then brought into the UK and put back together. So
just like they did the Lady of Liberty in New York.
Yes,
in pieces that they brought her.
Okay,
as a building.
So we know Tartaria, the people came from here. We know that they came from here, regardless of what was done over the rest of the world. Then, so let's bring it back into what we talking about now, bro. Okay, the mud floods actually, that happened. That's one flood. That's one catastrophe. Okay, let's move back in time, and we have another flood. The flood that's described in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
No.
Who did that affect?
Africa?
No, it wasn't Africa. But it affected the people of those times, like the giants, allegedly the giants and the people that just flooded them out. The people back in Noah's days.
Okay, so let's just say this. Because of the Epic of Gilgamesh, there is no Noah. There's just Ziusudra, right?
Right.
Okay, so during the time of Gilgamesh, there was another catastrophe because Gilgamesh was trying to get away from it. Remember?
Yeah, go ahead.
And he went to go see Ziusudra. So therefore, that's 3 catastrophes right there. You got the mud floods, because that's more recent to us. You have the Sumerians, which that's over there with Gilgamesh. They experienced a catastrophe over there too, but it wasn't a flood. It was a WAR that caused an ice age, which later became a flood. Then there's the flood of actual, who people call Noah or Zeo-Sudra. There was that flood. Then working our way back beyond that, and behind that is the flood of Atlantis. The sinking of Atlantis, which caused a flood. They call it a flood, but it's more like a tsunami, and then the waters had to recede.
Can I say something now?
Go ahead.
I didn't listen to everything, but you did pick up on one thing that's just caught my attention. The minute Atlantis comes out, everything for me, when we connect to Atlantis, Atalan, the Mayans, everything starts to connect with time, timelines, communication. It seems like every time they made a flood, they buried something, like in burying or connecting a communication system up, complete in an area space of land where the people that were there the only reason they buried them is because they didn't want the truth going forward.
Okay, but hold on. The only problem I have with that is I teach about during Kuyu and underground cities. I use during Kuyu when I teach about underground cities. When it came to during Kuyu, everything was gone. All of the people, all of the tools, all of the artifacts, all the pets. They didn't find anybody's bones, none of that. So I agree with you that a lot of these catastrophes were used to hide stuff, but I also know that with many of these catastrophes, many people were saved.
The association between Mars and Earth and Tartaria inside of the word Earth is the word Tartaria. When you bring life into something, you just add the I. Earth is EAR, okay, TH, and inside of Tartaria, it's still the word rat. The first zodiac sign is the rat, also an expression of both the upper and lower house. How so? The lower house of numbers are A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, equaling to 10. The upper house is 6, 7, 8, 9, equaling to a total of 30. It is a 3-to-1 difference, but bringing everything into Trinity, it becomes 3 and 9. 3 and 9 is 13, 13, 13 in the upper house to what is 7, 7, 7 to the 7th day a week in the lower house. And this is where the rat, or what are the rats in Tartaria, bringing AI together. The split sun.
And that's beautiful. I got something to build off that. Mad facts. What you got?
One more piece. You said flood. You said giant. You also said demons or phobias.
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you say?
Demons.
Okay, with demos, be similar.
I said giants, personally.
So
Yeah.
the one
Giants
of the
and demons. But I said demons. He said giants.
okay, so in giant, when it it is a passageway for the towards us, to communication with us. As big as we are, as little as it took to get to communicate with us. 79 represents the mother. It represents what is immutable and cardinal sign. The 7 is what is the 731 days a week. It's going to represent the cycles of 1313 in the 3 years and 1 year for the leap year. It's also what is going to be 13 plus 31 plus 13 equals to 57, or what is 31 plus 13 plus 31 equals to 75, to what is the end of the cubic years of Saturn. Time over, all memory used up, we're done. 2027.
See, I don't know if everybody follow Tac, but I follow Tac. I follow him. I know exactly what he's speaking of. But I need to address something right quick, y'all. Mr. Sip 1000, whoever you are, bruh, don't type nothing else disrespectful in my chat at all. I don't know who you are, but I don't play games with grown men. Don't get in my chat and get disrespectful. If you don't resonate with what's going on here, leave. Now, getting back to Mad Facts, because I want to make sure Mad Facts get his point, you know what I'm saying, out here, and I want to make sure we stay on our topic that we had. All right, so we got 4 We got 4 catastrophes. 4. Now, when it comes to that one about Noah, see, I never take the Bible as a historical book. I take it as a reference, like a piece of reference material, because I look at it like a plagiarism. So I go find the real people. Like whenever I do look at the Bible, I go find the real people. So I got Zeosudra, I got Gilgamesh, okay? And now working our way back, after that, we run into the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. The Lemurians spoke of a flood and the Atlanteans spoke of a flood. But not so much, when it hit the Atlanteans, they talk about like the sinking of their home, their continent, which caused a tidal wave. That tidal wave was seen as a flood and a washout. And then, of course, the water's got to recede. Now, go ahead, Mad Facts.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because, yeah, those landmass are also underwater as of today. So
Yeah.
it could be either terraforming or making natural barriers to create what we have today.
Barley.
Interestingly enough, Mad Facts, I'm gonna tell you something really interesting. Where does all that red clay come from that's in Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky that you can't hardly find nowhere else?
Well, that's organic. That red clay was once walking around the earth.
Could it be the clay? Could it be the clay that washed up on shore when that continent called Mu sank? Because it caused a tidal wave. You ever dropped a stone in the water?
Yeah.
What happens when you drop a stone in the water?
It makes ripples. So then it makes the water.
Also, you see that first huge splash that comes back up when the rock finally get under the water. You see that first initial splash up. Well, the first initial splash up when Mu sank was a tidal wave. And so a lot of that sediment, you ever matter of fact, you ever seen an underwater lake and the silt and the soot that's down at the bottom of it?
Yeah, they have those. Well, why not? How do you know?
And that's where you find that clay.
How do you know they didn't sink, but someone actually...
You said, how do I know?
I don't think they sank. I just think they were lower. And someone raised them.
Matter of fact, I caught a visual. I caught a visual studying this material. I caught a visual.
Right.
As I've been studying this material over my life, bro, I caught a visual. Okay? People be talking about tectonic plates and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
people be talking about tectonic plates and stuff. Me?
Right.
All right, now look. What I wanna help you to see real quick, because I know you know. How are islands formed? How do they tell us islands are formed?
Volcanoes.
The magma, it like bubble up. Yeah.
Right.
So they start off at the seafloor, then they bubble up, and an island and a continent, they form the same. They grow up out of the ocean like a tree. Then when they get to the top of the water, they start to spread, right?
That's what they say.
All right, so check this out. That means all continents are sitting on foundational columns. All of them. You caught the visual yet?
Yeah, I caught it. But I still think
if you have an underwater war, and y'all got submarines and all of that kind of stuff, y'all get to shooting torpedoes and stuff like that. You can literally hit the foundations of a continent. and the continent is going to sink. If something the size of Australia sinks, bro, it's going to cause a tidal wave. First, the water is going to draw in wherever that continent is sinking, and then it's going to splash up.
Well, that's a whole other rabbit hole about what's under the water and the intelligent life that's under the water.
You just said that the continents are there.
Well, I just was thinking that they diverted the...
You don't think Atlantis is sitting down there at the bottom of the water?
I think that it was...
You can't divert the flow of ocean currents. You can't divert the flow of ocean currents, bro. That's how I know that the Fertile Crescent is the Gulf of America. Yeah, you cannot... How are you going to divert ocean currents, bro? Ocean currents are actually deep under the ocean.
I understand that, but you can manipulate it to change that current. Maybe we don't have the technology.
With electromagnetic waves that are currently being used, they always being used under the ground. I mean, I follow the map and I follow, like I don't look at the map, the satellite on my laptop, you could see everything, radiation, everything that is going on under the ground, like
it's called the logos.
You can tell, like they're I don't know how to explain it, but magnetic waves.
It's called the logos. In the ancient stories, they said that they changed the logos. It's called the logos. It's forces. It's forces. Even the ocean current is a force. That's a force. It causes things to happen on Earth, even whether nobody do anything or not.
So you think that someone sank a couple of continents?
Not a couple of continents. It tells you straight up in the ancient stories that there was a whole continent called Mu that sat right in the Atlantic Ocean. It sank.
Mu was on the Pacific Ocean side, I think.
No, they got maps. They got maps. There's plenty of maps to show you where it was. And that wouldn't make sense, matter of fact, as far as like Atlantis used to sit right beside Atlanta because Atlanta has always been the capital of Atlantis.
I understand what you're saying. Well, what if, all right, Moon's over there on the map I saw on the Pacific side. It sinks, right? And the water rises up and it also covers Atlantis. Because if Atlantis sank, Atlanta would be underwater.
That's not true, but Atlanta has been underwater. That's why Stone Mountain is smooth. You want me to show you?
Really?
I can show you. You ever been to Atlanta before?
No.
Stone Mountain is almost as smooth as a cue ball, Holmes. I'm gonna show you. Everybody who's from Atlanta knows that Stone Mountain used to be underwater. Check it out, bro.
Wow.
Stone Mountain.
Wow, that's
just as smooth as a cue ball, bro.
It's like a baby's butt.
Smooth as a cue ball, bro. Okay.
Have you guys heard of Devil's Tower?
Yeah.
Yep. It's a tree.
Yeah, that's true. That's a tree right there.
It's a tree.
It was probably an elevator. And when they cut them trees,
I give you a better
the straw
probability
got
than that.
cut, and that's where you get the floods from.
I give you a better probability than that. You can find pictures of where in the early times of settling for them in America, early times of bringing them immigrants over into America, bro. You can see them cutting down trees that's as big around as a box truck. When you cut down
that's where the whole Paul Bunyan shit come from.
Yeah, when you cut down trees that big, you disturb the ecosystem. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll cause all kind of crazy storms and all that kind of stuff if you get to cutting down trees that are too big or cutting down too many trees. Now, like I said, bro, Atlanta is actually it has always been the capital of Atlantis. And think about it, Atlanta, it means the most beautiful. It's the sister. It like Atlantis was actually the sister to Atlanta. Atlanta America was the most beautiful lands. That's the reason for they named it what they named it and all of that. So these were the most beautiful lands.
So do you think Turtle Island was really Pangea?
No. Turtle Island is smaller than what people think, and based on what I've been learning, Turtle Island is not America. It's one of the islands that's in America. And I ain't gonna say which one it is because I'm still researching what I was told. But there is a such thing called Turtle Island, and that place is, sort of like Atlantis. People be looking for it.
Yeah, I'm saying, but Pangea was where it was just one landmass. It wasn't no This is pre.
I don't believe in Pangea, bro. I don't believe in Pangea, bro.
But you believe in.
I don't believe in Pangea. Listen, here's the reason I don't believe in Pangea. America, all of them, North America, South America, Middle of America, bruh, check it yourself. They sit at a higher elevation than Africa. So how could Africa be the motherland, or how could it be done came out of the waters first, or how could it actually literally collide with like they would have been on the same elevation, bro? If they came out of the water at the same time, they'd be the same elevation.
I hear what you're saying, but
I mean,
it'd be like the sun moves left to right, but up and down is day and night. So somebody's
No,
lying.
that's not true either. That's not true either. The sun moves on a circuit, which is a circle. The sun is on a track, bro. It's on a track. All the ancient texts say the sun. No, just a circuit. Like basically,
you took for a ride.
You can give something a circuit, which is like a course, but a circuit implies circle. So you know what I'm saying? The sun, it moves in a circle around this place.
Like a big clock. Keep on.
Make the earth flat.
You think that's just to produce growth?
Of course, but it's a governor. It's a governor. It's in layman's terms, the sun and the moon are both lights that were put there to govern. One was supposed to be to govern the day. One is supposed to be to govern the night. But if we just look into what that means, is like we use the sun during the daytime. It governs. It helps us to locate things.
Yeah, it means it takes 365 moons to get around the sun one day. It takes 365 moons to get around the sun once.
If you think that the sun is outside of this place, I mean, kudos to you. I think what's outside of this place is water. I believe the sun is inside with us.
The sun is inside.
I think the sun is just some battery that got in the sky, but they taking energy from souls on the earth. And
no, ain't no way in the world, bro. Let me look.
It's not taking
them. No. Hold on, bro. The sun. Even in the ancient text, it shows like when you see that hieroglyph and they showing you the people sitting up under the sun, you see leaves and you see ankhs. You see the ankh coming down out of the sun. Okay, so what the sun is giving life. It's giving life. The sun is giving life. Everything.
You talking about Ra? You talking about Ra or Ray?
Listen, when you look at that hieroglyph that shows the woman sitting there with bouncing the little kid on her lap, and then there's another one bouncing the kid on their lap, and it shows you the sun shining on them. What's in the rays? It has leaves and ankhs. So you know what the ankh is?
Yes, the symbol.
Eternal life, bro. Eternal life,
it's
bro.
The womb, it's the womb, and the process of coming into
okay, so life is gonna eternally come from that sun. We'll eternally be able to get life from that sun.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the crook and flail?
Oh, first of all, the crook and the flail, that's like it's for kingship, but the flail is for your animals. So that's agriculture. I mean, yeah, that's agriculture. And then the hook is for shepherding. The hook is for shepherding. That's what you use on the sheep. So they gave the hook
to me
and
it looks
the flail.
like the symbol for pie.
I understand what you're saying, but let me break it to you. Yep, but I want to break it to you the way that they gave it, because to the priest and the king too, don't they? When they dub somebody a pharaoh,
I think
or a king,
they said the king or the pharaoh was a direct descendant to the son, or a direct relative.
Okay, so the reason that they give the hook
on earth.
The reason they give the hook and the flail to the pharaoh and the kings and the priests is because the flail is for the agriculture. Why would you want to follow a king that can't produce food, can't feed you, can't tell you what to do with your?
I don't know, man. I think they done warped everything. Just like the Pope and the priests and all them, they sitting in the oracle seat because all life comes through the womb of one woman. So they're the master creators. You can't be a god and not be born by a goddess. So
the hook,
I know the Pope and all them, they sitting in the oracle seat. That's why they wear gowns.
Listen, I ain't worried about the people that creeped into position. I ain't worried about the people that creeped into their position. The powers that they were given remain. So when you say when you ask about the hook and the flail, those powers remain. Just because somebody evil has the power, that don't mean that the power's changed. The power is the power.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro, if they only gonna write their narrative that's distorted, man. They ain't gonna leave no
truth behind
for us to get from. It's gonna be distorted. Fit their agenda.
Hold on. Say that again, Tree Blood. Say that again.
I think all these archaeologists and historians and stuff, they're only gonna speak on stuff that fits their narrative. That's why they gotta be the first on the scene to pull some stuff up out of the ground. So they pretty much the first thieves, and they're gonna counterfeit some archaeology to fit their narrative.
I don't care. Look, bro, I don't care who pulls anything out of the ground. I'm gonna tell you something real before you be done left my panel. Let me tell you something real. You see this building here? My ancestors put their blood, sweat, and tears into building those buildings. When I stand next to these buildings speak to me, bro. It's my ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears that
you get organic energy from food.
Okay, so therefore you don't have
organic energy.
You gotta believe in your heart, bro, that don't matter. You gotta have a knowing in your heart that don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to use my heart, but education will get in the way of what you already know. You got the same soul in you that shined before the beginning of time. This education stuff is really to make you forget what you already remembered but forgot. Nothing is lost, only forgotten. And there is no truth until you go on the quest of questions.
I'm with you on that, bro. I resonate with that.
I mean, people, we done learned how to read and write, and now we caught in a motherfucking spell called reading and writing. I mean, we ain't doing this stuff before. I mean, nature didn't need no instruction. Nature didn't need no language. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm being frustrated. No disrespect. But I mean, I think we would learn more if just taking this stuff as notes and then.
We do that, bro. In here, we do that. So give us a second.
Burn the lies away with the warm heart of nature.
Give us a second, bro, because we do exactly what you're talking about. That's what we do in here. So just sit there. Hold on. Hold your horses for a second. What you got, Tac?
2 pieces, one with what you were just talking about, one that we didn't finish from before. I wanted to show you where the Demons and the Phobos is. The 2 moons of Mars are called Deimos and Phobos, also known as demons and phobias. Also what can be used to say it's a dice cube, as spelled as DEI. Also this can be also spelled as DMOS or as a USB key or plug-in, the two moons of Mars, the singularity of Earth. When the gentleman mentioned about forgotten, and that's absolutely right, because with forgotten is this. That's forgotten. It's communication.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why is that? Go ahead, tell us.
4 got 10.
Mm-hmm.
This is 10-4 for communication in CB codes.
4 got 10, JP.
4 got 10.
Got given 10. 4
Right.
got 10. JP.
So what happens in this is the qualified odds in the casino here in North America are 9 for 5. Both the 9 and the 5. The 5 is what I perceive as the energy or the female with inside the birth. The 5 and 9 association.
You see that? 10-4, good buddy. You see that?
And the payout in that is 7 to 5, in which you pick up the energy or the passageway or what it is for communication within the spirit. The 91st day.
Exactly.
April 1st.
Hey, King, I seen you come up in here. You're welcome to come up to the panel.
So thank you for letting me interrupt for that moment.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, definitely. Actually, all of this stuff goes together when people know how to do it. It goes
Just keeps
together.
giving me pieces. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
King,
appreciate
come up to the panel, King. Come up to the panel, King. Come up to the panel.
So would you say, JP, that the architectural, the letter H or arch, right? But for me the R is I don't know, but R is 666. It's also 2 times 9. I think the R is we are the representation of the heaven's sun. When you say arch,
But we are.
so the arch is the
We are
H.
the representation of God on earth. I mean, or the God, whoever created us here on this realm.
So that makes us the R. We
as
are
well as the representation of our energy source. So therefore, we are gods. I mean, it's not a title that people shouldn't be saying, "Oh, you're disrespecting by taking that, calling yourself God." Call yourself a God. Don't have the ego. Don't have the. But you are a God. You came to co-create. You came to make a difference, to build, to educate, to. That's what a God does, a true leader, you know? So we are actually a representation of God. We possess every mineral, every chemical, every gas, everything. On this realm, we possess it within us. That's what our body is made of.
999,999. Only 6 numbers, only 6 sides. Divide that.
Yeah.
Any number that you divide by the number 7 will only have a specific result. But let me jump back to Atlanta. I mentioned before that when you spell Atlanta, you can also spell it this way. Would anybody like to jump in and say what I just did?
Wait, you can spell it what way? I can't see that.
Okay, I'll turn it around. I don't know why.
Atlan, right?
Peace, man.
Man, King, what's up, God?
Man, I just been following you everywhere you go, man. Just humbly, just watching, listening, and yeah, man. I'm so.
God, you belong on a panel with me sometimes, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yo, this man up here. Make sure you guys follow this man. If you need healing, when you got people in your family need healing, something wrong with your hair, something wrong with your fingernails, something wrong with your skin. Tap in with the God. Tap in with the God. Okay, y'all follow him. Okay, y'all see, I put many different types of people on the panel with me. You know what I'm saying? These people that I put on the panel with me, they are worth following. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Okay, yeah. I see you down there, Atlanta. Okay, yeah.
When you send an email, when you send out an email, you put the @ sign or the commercial, the A commercial. So the LAN goes with the A commercial. It also goes with what is the land and animal on day 6 of Genesis. So you're receiving between, see, this one should go backwards, right? ATTA.
Right.
So each one of them, when you add them, they'll equal to 210, 210, and possibly equal to what the cube is. Why? Because the T is the 20th letter.
Wow.
It's actually A T A T A. That's the alphabet. That's the real alphabet. Actually, ATAATA.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show it to you somewhere else. Hold on. I already have this in. Listen. If I didn't draw it in the artwork, how in the world would I know?
What is wow, man?
Listen. Don't say wow until
That means.
Wait. It means nothing because I can put that in your head, and you're going to say. You have to say, "Show me. Show me. Why?"
No.
I'm going to show you why.
Right, show me. Come on. Hold on.
All right.
Show them.
Hold on a second.
Show them. Show them. Because I know why I said wow. I know why I said wow.
I got to get all these bathroom pictures out of the way. Okay, where is it? Mickey Mouse. Wow, how come I don't have this? The brick wall, the dogs, Mickey Mouse, a piece of wood. Where's all my pictures when I want it? And like
If
when
you take, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Atata. I looked for the meaning of it. At is a location thing, but then the rest of it means altar. So it would be at the altar. Atlanta is an altar. Oh my God.
But JP, that matches what I'm thinking, and I haven't said it yet.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, don't say sorry. Oh,
I'm
wow,
sorry,
it's about to be
myself.
mind blowing. This is about to be mind blowing. Wow.
You know me.
You said you too, Kiss? She said me too.
An altar. So they. Let me shut up. No.
well, oh, finally.
Is that a lot of
Okay, here.
places that they are like energy harvesting are actually that, like altars, because in history
Oh wow,
I
I
have
can
seen
spell Atlanta with that. I can spell Atlanta with that symbol.
So what this is, okay, I'm going to explain this to you. And this is not by chance. This is part of the piano, right? So no, sorry, I'm not going to count it. Yeah, can I count it? No, I can't use it that way. I'm not going to do that.
count it.
I'm just gonna show you. Where am I? Okay, I'm on the big screen. Okay,
Right.
okay, I'm on the
Yeah.
big screen. So what happens is this one over here is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
The top one over here, just like at the pyramid, is number 7. This one here is number 1. So it'll be the 1, and then here is number 7, and I don't have to put the T. I can do G.
Is it because it has the same value?
No, it's the reverse. It's the reverse. Over here, it's T7. Here, it's G7.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's 1. So it can be reversed for A1, which is actually M. So when you're doing this over here, you're doing 1, 7, 1, 1, 7, 1.
I know those.
That's 7.
She said ATCG.
Like Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Atta. That is atta is wow. I don't remember what that means. I mean in the work, but it's all about the cube
That
is.
means altar. An altar.
And when you count 1 over to 20.
She said atta is DNA.
Because in an altar you have to make sacrifices, and I believe Atlanta was a place of unaliving many people. Like wherever they did it, those are like in Africa or Egypt. They have
no. It was the first place that listen. It's Mecca. It's Mecca. It was the first Mecca. You know how they be walking around the cube over there? Atlanta was the first Mecca. It was the first one because he said it was a cube.
Brother,
he said it was a cube.
Whatever, I can't say something. Let me know, brother.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, I'll take like a minute, less than a minute. I want to share something with you. I had a dream, and in the dream, the angels, what they showed me was they showed me the sunlight, and then they showed me symbols coming from the sunlight, and then they showed me powers that I got. So basically, I believe that God was basically showing me that something has to do with the sunlight coming into our body, and there's symbols in the sunlight that activate something in our body or something like that, brother. That's all I want to add, brother.
It is because your skin, bro, acts like a solar panel for number one. Then for number two, our skin, bro, it acts like the leaves of the trees. It absorbs the sunlight, like how they get chlorophyll and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like our skin works just like leaves. You know what I'm saying? We are absorbing it.
Okay, so that's why they're trying to block the sun so much, and they're so fascinated with blocking the sunlight, because it actually is basically altering our DNA, and there's something linked in the sunlight because the creators that made that sun also created us, so we're linked. We're just like how we're linked with the chakras and the rainbow colors and the pyramids. We're all that, everything is literally linked. So that sunlight.
For number one, it's communicating with your internal sun. For number one, it's communicating with your internal sun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We all have a central sun. We all have a sun inside of us, and so. I mean, golly, man, I always get stomped right there like, whoa, it's mind-blowing because you got the sun and the moon up there with your two lights, and then you have a sun inside of you that's connecting 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful.
And for anyone out there who doesn't think that what we're talking about is real and this is real stuff, I don't want no follows. You could literally go to my page and you can literally see proof of God, proof of the world's great, proof of God, long story short. So this stuff we're talking about is real. This is not no fantasy stuff we're talking about. We actually have proof of the magnificence that is on this panel right now. This is not some plaything. This is real. It's real life.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that. And yeah, I still definitely, I always tell people to follow who they see on the panel or who they see up here with us. I always say that. You know what I'm saying? Man, yeah, hey, Tac, it's almost that time, bro. You're making me jealous, bro.
No. Oh. Okay, I thought I turned my sound off. No, so
you muted yourself. You didn't unmute yourself. You muted yourself.
We don't hear you, mister.
Okay, so what this is I forgot it in the fridge yesterday. It's chia seeds with some whey powder. And I'm not sure what else, but whatever. And it's frozen, and it's not supposed to be like this.
It's a nice snack.
It's probably good if you froze it.
Oh my God! It's listen. It's got a big scoop of cocoa bio, and I don't know what bio is, but I pretend for the placebo effect. So the word Atlanta, this is what it is in the scale of 7, right? The T is at the 7th gate, right? It's the same place as the G. The G and T connect the same place as the number 5, which is the E. And this is one of the reasons right now in words they're pushing 5G on us. It's all about reconnecting up to the moon source.
We have become antenna.
Yeah, I think I'm sure of it. Like, we used to be able to live on the moon, like live on it, and the moon is in here with us too.
I'm 100% sure they don't win.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure they don't win too, bro.
Otherwise, none of us would know about this.
Right. No, yeah, they don't win. And the thing that we know at this point is nature communicating with us, because this stuff didn't come out of a book. This stuff didn't come out of a book. I laugh when people get to say stuff like that, like, "Oh, you got all this stuff out of, you just believe everything out of a book." No, I read books all the time, and I never believe what the book says. I go meditate on everything.
Exactly.
But book has things that will trigger stuff in your mind. Like, we should not discard books because it's references, like you said before. So there's a lot of gems between books.
And talking to people, talking to you, JP, talking to Tac, talking to people like Bisha, talking to Kiss, talking to King, talking to man sharpens man like iron sharpens iron. The more we do this, like this conversation, somebody can lead this conversation, go home and take their nightly sleep, and tomorrow you might wake up with like 100 brand new thoughts, just because of some of the connections that was made in a live like this. So
you gotta write those thoughts. You gotta write. What he just said. The key thing though is writing those thoughts down. If you're not writing those thoughts down, then you have to blame whatever you're not getting on yourself. Because how you gonna remember? You gotta write that stuff down. So they're giving you the keys. You write down the keys in front of you, then you can oversee all the keys and put them together. It's a puzzle, right? They're giving you the pieces, but because you're not writing these stuff down, you're not taking it seriously. You're not taking these downloads serious, right? You're not able to apply them to your actual life to see the actual immediate effects that you would get if you would apply them to your life and take it seriously.
Thanks. Plant Keeper, I did not think of that, but that is really, really interesting. That hit me hard. Almost every major city has a highway like 285. Almost every major city. And she said that's a form of energy harvesting.
It's all fixed zodiac signs. 285.
She's so right, man. So right.
That's crazy.
The World Wide Web. The energy.
And then they're circling the cube, like what he just showed. Even the word Atlanta, it means a cube. So they're circling the cube. They're squaring the circle, circling the square.
Joint communication center, like an operator. Can I help you? Can I help you? This is the operator. Hello? Hello? Oh, those orphan kids, they keep calling us all the time. Must be...
Plant Keeper, that was crazy, Plant Keeper. That was crazy. That was crazy. Oh, wow. Circling the cube, bro. A circle and a square is the exact same thing. Have you ever heard that story about how the physical world and everything was created?
No, but I know in artwork I cannot create a square first because I don't know the dimensions. But using a protractor, I can create my circle and then go out and square it. And now I can do everything like in outer space.
I think it was stated like the square was created first because, like, a line and then a line and then another line, and there's a square, but it can't be contained. The only thing that can contain the square is the circle.
So what happens if we were the spirits, and the spirits are representative of pirates, and pirates are representative of planks, and we put a plank out, and we took our protractor from the edge of the plank, we planked it down, we went all the way around, and the only space that we didn't chop up is the place where the plank was, leaving a C instead of an O that could have been a G when we crossed the plank.
You're really good at that. Hey, you're really good at that. Because that means you never leave the plank. You're just there.
I really believe we chose to come here, and I think it's all a thing about nature. It's all about connecting as much as we can. The only thing that doesn't abide by the rules of law is nature. It doesn't listen to God. It only listens to whatever its nature is, the nature of things itself. It has. I don't believe it has any, any teacher but itself. It learns on its own, and it destroys itself, and it grows back again. And just somebody figured out how to, or somewhere in its own zone, it became whatever it is that came to us at the end. I don't know that part, but I definitely know that we have to fight the beast.
I've heard that law stood for land, air, and water. So I look at nature as the law. The way nature operates is law. It doesn't change. Nature doesn't change the way that it operates.
So it's hot and it's cold. It's hot and it's cold. Obviously, it must have come from energy before it became that. But because the hot and the cold, they meet each other. First of all, hot representation of red, cold representation of blue. Cold equals to 34. Hot equals to 43. That's crazy. Same corridor. When they come together, it creates purple. That's 88. 77 to 88. 88 constellations, the power of the constellations to the gateway. This is why they went into the Vatican. They were switching up. They had to switch. They had to switch the system over. It ended in 2015, was equality. Do you know how many moons passed in 2015? Do you know what Hebrew year it was in 2015?
It's going to be the same number.
Check this out. First of all, the cubes. The high and low of the cube. Why is it the high and low? I cannot this is the high and low. But if I show you that, right, I don't encompass or create any everything is going to happen within that. Okay? So I'm going to try and see if I can explain it. This is the high low. Because you only see 5 sides, this is what high low looks about. This is the low, the singularity, a single moon of Earth. This is the high, 2 through 6, okay? The 2 moons of Mars. Now, 2 and 5 are the numeric value for Earth. So do you see what's going on? Here, now we have a rotation. In this one, we can run through 6, we cannot count 1. In here, we can count 1, run through 5, cannot count 6. We're only going to show 5.
You cannot have creation without perfect mathematics. You can't. I think you said it sort of like it'll keep collapsing in on itself. Or what did you say about the 4th spot and how the 5th? How did you say it?
Well, every circle is every heart circle. It's either, I don't know what I said, but this one over here.
It's on the calculator, Tac. It's on the calculator. You was explaining it on the calculator, and you said.
Oh, the 5.
It's only 4. It's only.
Yeah,
4,
there's only the 4 corners. That's all there is. The 4 corners.
And then what happens on the 5?
Everything collapses into the 5 in order to create. But the reality, I believe, is this. Here's the 4 corners. They were all corners to begin with. Every single one had 3 sides to begin with. Then what happened is the cross came out and took what were the 4 corners of 1, 3, 7, and 9, only the odd numbers, and they spread them out to these 4 corners, and they installed 2, 5, 8 with 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, I see it.
And all that really existed was 1379.
I see it.
Or 1973, if you want to look at it that way. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do with that. If I do this, right, or I do this on this side without using the 3, 6, or 9, when I connect the low and the high, it's 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 4 and 5. Each one is 9. When I switch it to this side, It becomes 2 and 9, 3 and 8, 5 and 6, 11. That is the difference between your 5, 11. We're using these three here and these three here. These are the add-ins to the cross.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody ever noticed the 7 months of 31 days, or the 4 months of 30 days, or the 1 lonely month of the 28 days?
See, so like that's just like, that's why I said it's a law. It's a law. Just like the four corners of the earth. You don't need 5. You cause something to collapse in on itself. You don't need 5. It's not balanced with a 5.
The tetrahedron of 720 is a half a day, and you know what's funny? It falls in line with the hexahedron, which is 1.5 times. And hold on a second. When you take two tetrahedrons together, right, you are going to see 6 sides, but it's going to be on a 120-degree angle in order to do this. So, because a tetrahedron in reality has 4 sides, but you can only have 3 sides at a time when sitting flat. When you take the 2 flat of the tetrahedron and put it together, you get a 6-sided cube that's 120 degrees. Unlike the cubes that we get over here. Not the same thing. Right? All the angles are 90 and 180. When you angle it differently, by angling it to 120, it brings in the letter L. By bringing out this, you represent the letter R, as letter R goes horizontal. Vertical is the letter I, which separates at the 90 mark. Your separation, or the pillars on each side, are going to create what is the H. And we're going to have the shaft pillar over here that created your circumference with your protractor. This is where the 18 and 9 house comes in. Number 27, house of bet. House of bet, house of vet. Did anybody understand anything that was said there?
Yep. I can't explain it, bro, but I understand.
You want to see something a little different? The opposite side of this cube is 7, right? The 6 and the 1, 7. So over here is number 1. Over here is number 6. The reverse of what is 1 and 6 is 4 and 9. So I connect the corner of 1 and then the corner of 9, the corner of 4 over here. And the 1 and 4 to the corner of 6 and 9. And then over here, I connect, let me see, 1, 4, 7, 10. Okay, over here I connect number 13. In this one over here, I connect 13. And then over here, I connect 13, 18. Anyways, whatever it is, what I'm connecting is 1 and 6 over here to 4 and 9 over here. 1 and 6 here. 4 and 9 over here. No 1 and 6. Here it's 1 and 6, 4 and 9. And over here it's just 4 and 9. Where do I get these numbers from? The 1 and 6 comes from the opposite side of the cube here. The same number on the lower side of the calculator to what is 1 and 6 is 9 and 4. So then I draw 2 lines together. It creates a double pane window.
It's the same way you square a roof with 3, 4, 5. That's how you square a roof, or that's how you square an area.
3, 4, 5, and that's how you play golf. There's only par 3, par 4, par 5. Everything else is a birdie or an eagle or something else. And in golf, everything ends on 180.
Okay, so for some of you that like have a hard time keeping up or whatever, but you find it interesting, here's what's happening. Okay, I approach what's going on in this realm, in this place where we live. I approach it from one perspective. Tac approaches it from a mathematical perspective. But a person like Tac, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, in a little while, he'll be able to tell y'all like how this place actually is built mathematically, because you need these mathematics in order to be able to understand how this place actually like literally holds together and all of that, because it's all fractals. That's why the pyramids were done the way that they're done, with such mathematic perfection, because they're showing you greater mysteries with small mysteries. That's what they're doing. They're taking little small mysteries and then they expanding these mysteries, because that's really all that happened. Just like how whoever these guys are that created the little virtual world that's got algorithms that keep growing and all of that kind of stuff or whatever, it's all the same principles, because they're using code to write that. So it's really just running a program. And you could eventually find out that nature itself is running a program.
It's crazy for all the people who are saying, oh my God, I can't believe I'm a vegetarian. Oh my God, do you know what it took for me to get that vegetable to grow? Okay, I ran a farm. Would you like me to tell you what's in the garden?
Right. Whatever you put in there.
And let me tell you one thing. Those pigs really like to go in the garden.
Right. Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
Thank you. So to add on to what you said, the higher beings, what they've showed me in my spiritual journeys, and now that what I know is that the spiritual worlds are actually basically realer worlds physically than the world that we're in right now. They basically proved to me that this is literally a simulation. This is literally to them it's almost like a game, and they have powers to operate in this realm as if it was a game to change this reality. And they've proven that, like in my actual life, they've proven that, and they've shown me that in the spirit. So I believe what you're saying, and I have proof of it too, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel it. I discovered that a long time ago too. I was told when I was a kid to live my life as if I was playing a video game. I was told that, not by my parents or nobody, you know. But I was told to live my life like I'm playing a video game. Yeah, because I'm sitting at the controller. It's me that's sitting at the controller making all the decisions. Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, y'all. I'm getting ready to do what Tac doing. I'm gonna go get me something to eat. Love hanging out with y'all. It's early enough that I'm actually going to go live again right after I eat. You know what I'm saying? So around like 9:30, do a late night live with y'all.
How can I sneak in here so the algorithm doesn't take a look how many people are here? And it's because when I'm here, it's like they'll block you.
Take a look at them lights up there. I don't care nothing about the amount of people. I ain't worried about the amount of people, bro.
That is an absolute
fact.
JP told me I'm the magnet, so I don't worry about who gonna show up, bro. I do not. The people that show up are the people that resonate. You know. That's why I don't be worried about it. Look, you see how people still trying to look down at the guest box. People still be trying to come up.
Well, you can't close this till it hits 141.
All right, bet.
Right? We need 141 for the 1-for-1 exchange of light. It's a piece that comes from Sesame Street. When Grover Cleveland is hanging on a post. So that told me when Grover Cleveland was hanging on the post, that made me look at Grover Cleveland, and then I noticed that Grover Cleveland, right, was the 22nd and 24th president. And when I found out it was the 22nd and 24th president, I looked up what happened. I says, hey, the same thing in the Trump campaign. The 46th president is halfway between 22 and 24 at 23, just like the chromosomes. So everything got split up right there. Same thing has happened right now, split in time right now.
Man, but I definitely don't worry about who show up. I'm trying to tell you, I don't worry about who show up because the people that show up, like I said, they're the people that actually resonate. And the people that don't resonate with the information, I'm not mad if they don't show up, or I'm not mad if they, don't want to participate or nothing like that. This is for the people that actually do resonate with the information. Most of the time, I don't even tap my own screen because enough people come in that resonate with the information to tap our way wherever. I don't even be looking up there at the lights because I know that the people that's here is the people that resonate, And then even when it comes to like earlier before you came in, I had at least 2 or 3 trolls. They like to come in and try to disturb, what's going on. But if they can't actually get up here and teach, then they gotta go too. Or if they run in like they want to debunk somebody in here, if they don't have enough information, they gotta go. So, I don't even worry about who don't show up. I only focus on the people that actually do show up.
Right.
That's who.
You know what? You love them anyways.
Yeah, it was about the shadow banning that they do with the channel when I go places. It had nothing to do with who and why. It's like everybody has the bell on when I get on, and I say I'm on. Why didn't you show up? Why didn't you tell me? I said, well, your bell's on, and they won't ring their bell. That's what I'm speaking about.
I've seen like hundreds of people in here before, so I know. And then when you look at the likes and all those likes, like that just tells you right there. I've never even got likes that high before. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when I show up, it's like everything slows down.
No, let me tell you, I could share my screen, but I'm gonna just tell you about it. I've had over 3,600 viewers and 51 new followers, off this live, just this one. Over 3,600 viewers.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? And hold on, let me tell you. How long I've been on?
Almost like a veteran, literally.
We went. This has been a 10-hour live because we've been live almost all day.
Wow.
But still, some people do 12-hour live shows, bro. They don't get no 3,000, over 3,500 viewers.
Facts.
I've done a 12, 15-hour show, and I had, I think, 300 people. At the most. Oh no, your ratio is fantastic. But can you see the algorithm that happened when I showed up? Because I guarantee you it went zip. Your people went like this all day, and I show up. I'm like Bob Barker. Zip.
We had them drop down when you showed up. I was actually getting close to ending. We had them drop down about 20 people. When you showed up, it went back to 35. Now the only reason, listen, we were still at 30 people before I said I'm getting hungry and I'm about to do what you do.
This is Snakes and Ladders.
I'm gonna tell y'all one more secret though. When you go to someone's page that has information that you resonate with, watch the whole video before you try to like it or do anything else. Watch the whole video, then get to hitting your like and your share and your comments right there, because TikTok can tell if you actually was engaged with it. They show you the analytics and they show you how long people watched your video. So if people are like spending 3 or 4 seconds watching your video and then they like it, that's not the same as people watching the whole video and then liking it. You know what I'm saying? So believe you me, I'm gonna be visiting y'all's pages. I try to do that a lot, but I got a lot of people's pages I be visiting. So but I try to make sure I do that. Go ahead.
I just thought of something. Because I'm staring at the building in the back, on the second floor, there's no exterior entrance. Call that O. On the bottom floor, you have the door to go in. Call that C. The C is the entry. Okay, I mean, I'm just thinking about it. And the upstairs is the O. There's no way out. You have to go back to the entry. C is where the entry is, where 1 meets 2. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing right now.
I'm gonna be honest.
We gonna go ahead, King.
I'm gonna be honest. This is during this live, I've been connecting to the highest powers, and I've actually been receiving information and writing it down throughout the live. And I want everyone to remember this moment right now to prove that, and I'm gonna prove it to you guys in the near future of how of what this live has given to me being here. Because when I came here, to be honest to you, yeah, I'm a more spiritual person, a more hands-on spiritual man. But I know these symbols and numbers mean a lot because the angels show these things to me, right? Or they're about these things, right? And so basically, it's like, through this live, they have spoken to me a lot, and I've received a lot, and I can't tell you what it is because these are gifts. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I will show you in the future of how they manifest into reality. So this is just the deepest level, right? Of things that is being discussed here. When I came here, I wasn't fully aware of what the man with Mr. Talk was talking about. But I humbled myself because I know Magnificent, and I know he's such a real one that he wouldn't have this guy here if he wasn't talking some facts. So I stayed in. And I listened, and look, I was blessed by the Almighty, straight up. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love it. That's what happens, man. We create a vortex and get energy to swirling in here, man. And whoa. This I feel great when when the live comes to an end. I feel empowered up, just like what you just described. So I really appreciate it. Like when I see Tac, I always pull him straight to the panel. So you know what I'm saying? Like I really appreciate it myself. But I'm gonna give me something to eat, and I'm gonna be back with you guys probably an hour and a half, something like that. You know what I'm saying? We'll do another
peace,
good
bro. Peace.
Yeah, peace, bro. Peace, bro.
Enjoy. All right.
All right, JP.
Thank you.
Bisha, Tag, kisses, T-Chat. All y'all that's been chilling. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all in a little while. Love.
Thank you.
Love.
Clip change. You know what clip change is? When you add clips to a full-length video. There you can see the hull of the ship right there. And
come back with some real glowing facts, please.
Oh, this is over. Okay, so I have to go down here and end it.